on, everyone? Togevoir here, and I'm here for the NPL Season 4 Championship. That's right, in our last game, we just defeated Trev the King in the Conference Championship. Now we're on to the finals to face off against Jolt and the Toga Minorities. As you can see, we have my team on the left, his team on the right. So, this is an important game. Winner takes it all. There's been a lot of trash talk going on these past few days. And as some of you might know, I haven't beaten Jolt before. Jolt is a very talented prepper and a mediocre battler. In fact, he prides himself for never making any plays ever because his prep is so good. So, that's going to be quite a tall task to take him down, especially when he has big threats like the Mega Venusaur, the Sylveon, the Victini, the Lucario, the Empoleon. Those are kind of the main things that I foresee him coming, and the main things that I had to prep for, as those were the scariest things to my team. But anyways, I just appreciate all of your guys' support throughout this season of the NPL, and I hope that we can really take it down this season and take our first win ever against Jolt. In case for some reason you haven't, though, please make sure you are subscribed to the Toga Minorities. They produce some fantastic content. If you like the trading card game, Styx, one of the guys there does a lot of trading card game stuff. There's also Aberforth, who does Pokemon Lives and more Smogon stuff. And then, of course, the main man, Jolt, who focuses on Draft League play and is a good friend of mine. So it'd mean a lot to me if you haven't for some reason to go check out their channel. But yes, anyways, so let's go into team preview. Now, first things off, just when I started going into this match, just thought process wise, I really liked my Breloom matchup versus him. But there's a Mega Venusaur. I like it versus everything else in his team pretty much. I mean, obviously, because I can sport anything else, which is fantastic. But oh god, shoot. Anyways, I still just felt like the Mega Venusaur. Jolt's not the kind of person to be like, I have this, so he's not gonna bring that. He's the kind of guy that's he's gonna bring the Pokemon to counter your Pokemon, and he's gonna beat you with them and make you cry while he does it. So I really did feel like the Mega Venusaur would come to really stop my Breloom from doing any work. And I also feel like that same thing would maybe keep Cloyster out of play, but then also Cloyster owns Ice Shard, so not really. But Cloyster's also looking like a decent threat to my team. So I have to make sure that in my team I can handle that. Victini is a monster. The only two things that can really take hits from it somewhat reliably is my Snorlax and my Rotom Heat. And my Snorlax versus other Pokemon on his team isn't the greatest thing. Especially that being Lucario, which is a huge threat to my team, and I have nothing to wall Lucario. So my game plan versus Lucario is really going to have to be keep up offensive pressure, and that goes in with my game plan as a whole. My game plan as a whole will be to use Rotom Heat, spoilers, which I'll be bringing, Mega Pidgeot, and use those two to gain momentum for my team and keep applying offensive pressure, such that his biggest offensive threats, like Lucario, and even possibly if it's a setup Victini, will never have a chance to set up, and even then, that he won't really be able to switch around that much, and he'll be forced to sack mons because of my offense, and that's what I'm trying to do. Got that out of the way. So, that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of those Pokemon. Defensively, Empoleon is probably the biggest threat to me, as it can take on the likes of my Mega Pidgeot, of my Jirachi in particular. It's really only decent stop to Jirachi. It stops my Togekiss pretty well. So I know that Empoleon has to come 100%, and all of the testing that I've done, it's come every single time. The one other thing on my own team is my Garchomp. The thing about this is that he only has one Pokemon with Levitate, or he has two Pokemon that that... Oh, that's so funny. Azelf's not on this graphic. He has an Azelf. I'm dumb and didn't put it there. Pretend there's an Azelf. It'll be on there by the time this is on there, but I haven't talked about it at all. So, but his only two ground immunities are the Azelf and the Salamence. So Salamence, unless it's Scarf, my my Garchomp will be able to outspeed and either take out or do a lot of damage with a Dragon move. And Azelf cannot switch in reliably to a Garchomp at all, especially if I go for my Dragon move. But it is immunity to Earthquake, and because of that, though, once that Azelf dies, just Earthquake does so much to his team, because that Salamence obviously is handled by Dragon moves very easily. So I really want to be able to take out that Azelf early. There is the possibility of it being some kind of suicide lead, which I have seen in some of my test games, and if it is that, it's not going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be a big question of what I sack, because I don't want to let my Jirachi get weak into an explosion if that's the set that he brings. But I also, yeah, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought for a second. But I also I really do want that thing dead so that Garchomp will have an easier time just safely clicking Earthquake. And Garchomp actually has a pretty good chance of sweeping his team, especially if it doesn't bring that Piloswine or a Scarfment, or a Cloyster. And I don't really necessarily think that those things will come because they don't have the greatest matchups overall. But anyways, I think I've talked enough about this general matchup preview, and enough to get right into show off this team that I built. I spent a lot of time on this team. I really do think that, sometimes when you're building, you don't really know if you have the best possible team yet, or things are rushed and it's not exactly where you'd like it to be. I think for sure that this is one of the best teams I've ever built for Draft League play. I've spent many hours working on it. And I think it is if not close to, the best team someone could bring with my 10 Pokemon versus his 11 Pokemon. So, that being said, let's hop into my team builder, and eventually we'll hop into the battle. Alright, so here we are with the team. And so, this team has gone through, I'm sorry for just adjusting my laptop there for a second, but this team has gone through many different iterations, and this is what I've finally decided to settle on. So first off is my Jirachi, which is an enormous threat to his team. It's Turquoise the Jirachi, as usual, max speed, max special attack, with the Aqua Berry. The Aqua Berry is for Victini. I think there's a strong chance that Victini comes as a Scarf variant, and if that does come, the Aqua Berry is going to be very nice, as it'll allow me to live any Scarfed hit, whether it be a V-Create or a Blue Flare. If it's a V-Create, that's fine, because after a Calm Mind Up, I for sure 2-hit KO with HP Ground, and I'll outspeed 100% after the drops. And then also, if he's not, I speed tie him, and I'll be able to 2-hit KO. So, that's the reason for those things, especially if I get Rocks Up, it makes it easier, makes it so I don't even need the Calm Mind Up to 2-hit KO with the HP Ground. You may be wondering why I brought HP Ground and not Shadow Ball. So, one of the things I was pretty actually scared of is of the Ditto, because if I did not bring... not if I didn't bring, but if my Rotom Heat manages to get weakened, a Rotom transforming into a Mega Pidgeot is an enormous threat to my team, as I'm not running a Choice Scarfer. And so I really think there's a chance that he brings Rotom, and if he did, Jolt is the type of person, I think, I didn't actually pay attention last time, I probably should have, but I think he is the type of person to specialize the IVs on Rotom to make sure it has a hidden power that hits the majority of my team super effectively. If he were to do that, I don't think he would do Hidden Power Ground or Hidden Power Dark, which is the default for 31 across the board. So Hidden Power Ground gives me a safer option against the Ditto with my Jirachi, and potentially even makes a Ditto, especially a Scarf, complete setup fodder for my Jirachi, which could lead to me destroying his team. So that's part of the reason for HP Ground. The other reason is just for lack of coverage in general. I wanted something that could hit both Victini and the Empoleon, and I didn't want to run Thunderbolt or Shadow Balls. I didn't want to have one that was just neutral on one of them. So that's why I ran HP Ground, kind of the middle ground between those. I needed my stabs for the Flash Cannon, for the Sylveon, the Psychic for the Venusaur. So yeah, that's kind of the explanation for that set. Next we have Nemesis, which is a huge threat to his team. So this is a pretty interesting spread. I have to remember. Oh yeah, this spread is the defense in the HP allows me to live a Adamant Lucario Scarfed Ice Punch, so I can take it out with an Earthquake, or an Adamant Lucario's Ice Punch in general, so that way I can maybe get rocks on it, or not rocks on it, but like I could take it. It's just a nice benchmark to hit. Scarf is the main reason for it, as I think there's potential for a Scarf Lucario versus my team, given if Togekiss dies, spamming close combat is nice, and if it had come down to that situation, I just want to be able to live that, and it gives me good overall bulk. In general, the 100 attack is also the benchmark I needed to hit to basically, against a sort of mixed defensive Sylveon after rocks with this spread, I have a pretty good chance of killing it, especially with level 50 helps a little bit with that. And then my moveset, all I really need is Dual Stab. Another reason I'm only bringing Dual Stab and nothing else, even though nothing else really would make sense, but in case he did bring the Ditto after I was set up, I could just go straight into my Togekiss as long as it was still around, and my Togekiss would 100% wall this and allow me to do some Thunder Wave shenanigans. So that's the reason for that. Stealth Rocks, because I am running a full moveset on my Jirachi, and it's just nice to have them on my team. I don't think it's 100% necessary for this matchup, but it would be very nice to get them up versus that Victini. But yeah, that's my Garchomp. It's a huge threat to his team if I can take care of his ground immunity and Azelf, as Salamence isn't really a problem because I have Dragon Claw. The Roselli Berry is so that there's a chance that, in case I was already set up and I couldn't kill the Sylveon because it was more of a physically defensive variant, I could more easily take a Hyper Voice, and it wouldn't be able to put me in extreme speed from range from a defensive Sylveon. And also so that late game, if I saw the opportunity and his Sylveon was around, 65, 70%, where if it was defensive, I could guarantee O-Code after Swords Dance, I could take a Hyper Voice, SD on it, or possibly cause him to overpredict as he makes, a play switching out, not expecting me to ever stay in on a Sylveon, and I SD and win. So that's the reason for that, mainly. Next, we have always the Togekiss with the Babiri Berry, Thunder Wave, Roost, Air Slash, Encore. Now, Scarf Togekiss has a very good matchup versus his team, minus the Empoleon, so I kind of think he would expect a Scarf Togekiss for me. And that being said, I think that Swords Dance Bullet Punch is very likely on the Lucario, which is the reason for the Babiri Berry, as it allowed me to take that for sure, no matter, you have to get like +6, I don't even know if +6 would kill me, and I didn't do the calcs for that because I'm not going to let it get to +6, with Roost, Air Slash, Thunder Wave, and Encore. This is just meant mainly to be a defensive pivot. In my mocks, it was the thing that just kind of sat there a lot of the battle and was really annoying with hacks, so if it can do that, if we can get some hacks going for us, if we can get Thunder Waves off on things like the Victini, even if any of his Mons, Thunder Wave's always a nice move, but especially the Victini and the Azelf, which are two of the faster things that can more easily threaten most of my team. That'll be nice. Encore is for things, so I can Encore, maybe if he's as lead Azelf, I can Encore that into Stealth Rocks. I could Encore an Empoleon into Defog if Empoleon wanted to switch on me in Defog, and then just spam Air Slash and Thunder Wave. I could Encore a Victini into a move that didn't hit me very super effectively, possibly. But yeah, that's the main reason for Encore. It's just nice to have, then it's kind of safety insurance. That way, nothing can set up on me if something's faster than me. So, like, say his Lucario's in on this, and, like, I've revealed most of my moveset. If he goes for Swords Dance, I'll be slower. I can just click Encore, guaranteed that I won't be swept. Next, at this point, I was very much worried about a Shell Smashing, Hacks Cloister with the what is it that causes the flinches? The King's Rock. King's Rock. I don't know why that took me so long to remember. So we have Ned the Blastoise with the red card to prevent any sweep of any kind. It's basically a one-time insurance policy that I will not be swept. This is wonderful versus the Lucario. This is wonderful versus a Calm Mind Sylveon, possibly. I also have the Roar. This is basically anti-setup. And the reason I need Roar on this is because I cannot risk Blastoise with pretty weak offensive stats and only Scald and Ice Beam as its coverage that I'm bringing. It can be possibly set up subs on by, if it was Sub-CM Sylveon or something. That could be scary as hell. Maybe a substitute Empoleon. I know Jolt has liked to run that in the past. So just having Roar, having the red card ensures that I will not be set up on, and will keep my late game kind of sweepers and both Garchomp, Jirachi, and also my Mega Pidgeot in a much safer way to clean up the game. And it also has Rapid Spin to keep hazards off the field for my Mega Pidgeot and my Rotom Heat. So I have 2 mons left, as I've already mentioned them, but here's my Rotom Heat set. Volt Switch, Overheat, Pain Split, Shadow Ball. There isn't really too much thought put into this EV spread, except that it gives me very good defenses overall. Oh, I should mention one thing about this Blastoise. The reason I am relaxed is in case he ran a Stealth Rocks Empoleon. The reason I'm relaxed with 0 IVs is because I wanted to be able to always be slower than it to ensure that no matter what, I could keep those hazards off my field, as Empoleon is naturally more slower than Blastoise. So that's the reason for that nature in those EVs. Anyways, Rotom Heat, Volt Switch, Overheat, Pain Split, Shadow Ball. I really wanted to bring a status on it, but I needed the Rotom Heat, or the Overheat, to just hit things generally hard in general. The Volt Switch was really nice versus for momentum, because unless he brought the Piloswine, he did not have a Volt Switch immunity, and I really needed the Shadow Ball because I could not risk a sub-Victini possibly setting up on this, as this is one of the better checks to Victini, so I wouldn't necessarily want to Volt Switch out and check and sack something else to it, as well as if he was especially defensive enough, a Volt Switch wouldn't break the sub, I believe. So that's the reason for that, and I really need a Pain Split to be able to keep this thing healthy, and so that's why, excuse me, that's why there's not a status move there. That's basically it. It's there to keep checks on Victini, also a more offensive Sylveon. It even does pretty good versus the Mega Venusaur, albeit I don't have a status, but it's just nice to be able to check in their Volt Switch out into something else, etc. That's going to be Rotom Heats for all this game. Not the most important member of my team, but yeah. Anyways, next we have a huge threat to his team. This is my Mega Pidgeot. Okay, apparently I lied to Jolt earlier. Apparently this was HP fighting. I really did think it was HP ground. That made a play in the game much less ballsy. Spoilers, I already played the game. But anyways, I wish I would have known that. But it's alright. Hurricane, Hidden Power Fighting, Roost, and U-Turn. This amount of HP is such that a +2 Life Orbed Adamant Lucario with Extreme Speed could not KO me if I'm at max HP. If I'm at full health. Actually, no, that might be after Rocks. Let me check that. I'll be right back. No, it is Life Orb from full and then non-boosted from after Rocks. But anyways, I have the Hidden Power Fighting to hit the Empoleon, stronger the Roost to try to keep myself healthy in general. Maybe I can take some attacks from the Mega Venusaur with the HP investment that I have. Hidden Power Fighting so I can hit the Empoleon. Like I said, it'll do a good amount as long as it's not fully especially defensive, though I do think that there's a good chance that he brings that. U-Turn for general momentum so I can kind of predict around switches and such, as well as Hurricane for my main stab. I have enough speed to outspeed his entire team after I'm Mega Evolved, and this thing is looking very threatening in the late game as it outspeeds his entire team, as I said, except for Scarfers. So that's that. That's my team versus Jolt. I'm honestly really proud of this team. I think it can do a lot of work. So I'll see you guys in the battle in a little. What's going on, everyone? We're back with the battle, and here we are versus Jolt. As you can see, there's his team, there's my team. The biggest thing that I have to say going into this, I'm really relieved that Ditto did not come. It takes a lot of pressure off my Rotom Heat, I do believe, and these are the 6 that I thought most likely to come. So although they're very scary, and I have a lot to be concerned about, there is some relief in that there's, I don't really see him pulling off a strategy that I haven't seen before in prep. So that makes me feel a lot better, especially with these 6 mods. But anyways, with that, looking at his team, he doesn't have a Volt Switch immunity, and so whenever that's happened, which has been pretty much all of the test games I've had, I've led straight off with my Rotom Heat, and so right here, I'm going to do the same so we can start this battle. Sorry for like the YouTube bar and that. Oh, by the way, one other thing though, big shout out to, I didn't do this before, but I should do it now, big shout out to Rizzy for both genning all my Pokemon, genning Jolt's Pokemon, and recording my match for me. Because those aren't things that I'm capable of doing by myself with my own technology, so big shout out to him. Anyways, Jolt's issuing a challenge. Here we go. He's going to lead off with Impact the Azelf, kind of like I expected, and I'm just going to lead off with my Rotom here, and I decided to go straight for the Shadow Ball, as I know I'll be able to 2-hit KO it no matter what. pretty much. And I go for a Shadow Ball. He gets up his Stealth Rock because it's kind of expected. It does a lot. Now right here, I really did expect him to. I did predict him to just explode, but since I don't want to draw, I should have taken too much damage, and it's not a very bulky spread, so I didn't want to switch into that, and I really didn't have anything else good to switch into it, and I didn't think necessarily that Rotom would be the most useful this game. Turns out I probably shouldn't have. Looking at how the game turned out, I definitely should have just gone into Togekiss here, as it didn't really, spoilers, doesn't really do anything in this game, but alas, I decided to just take the explosion with my Rotom Heat. And it does a good chunk of damage, about 2/3. I'm about 30% right now. But that's dead, even if he did get rocks up. And I think he probably won those first couple of turns, but I'm still not in a bad position. And I'm either gonna have to sack this, or I'm going to be able to Volt Switch out. But okay, pause right here. I'm sure. Yeah. So I didn't see that. So that comes into play later. That's all I'm gonna say. But I just sack this right here to Lucario close combat, and I don't see an item. Right? I don't see anything. So I'm just like, you know what? That looks like it's banded or something. So I'm gonna go into my Garchomp because it's a banded Lucario, and I'm gonna click Earthquake to take it out because that's what you do. And so he switches out, but Azelf is ground immunity's gone, and he goes straight into his Sylveon. I go for Earthquake, and it does a lot. So I'm like, this thing's offensive. It's either Scarf or Specs. Either one's fine. Just gonna go for another EQ. Turns out he's Choice Scarf. He outpaces me, but the Roselia Berry will let me survive with a good amount of HP, and I managed to 2-hit kill the Sylveon, which was a massive threat to my team, and the reason why I should have kept my Rotom Heat around more, but now that it's gone, I'm not feeling too bad about that at all. So anyways, it goes back to it. What's that? I don't see it again. I'm so bad at this game. Thankfully, Jolt also decides to be he thinks that I'm a lot better than I really am, so he goes for the Ice Punch instead of just setting up on me. I did not have Fire Blast. I could have only broken it with Dragon Claw, and he could have set up all over my face, and I would have been in a very bad position early on in the game. But regardless, I get some rough skin damage off, and my Garchomp goes down after taking out his Sylveon. So I'm really not feeling too bad about myself right now. And at this point, I can go into my Mega Pidgeot, and my plan here is just to go straight for the Hidden Power Fighting, because the Empoleon switch is obvious, and it won't kill the Lucario, but there's no way he stays in, so that's why I go for that. And it turns out that he does bring the Empoleon again. And as you'll see here by this damage from this Hidden Power, I am again surprised that it does so much, meaning it's another thing that I thought would be a more defensive or bulkier set that ends up being offensive. But because of that, I really do think that it will be a substitute variant of some sort. So I go into my red card, Roar, Rapid Spinning, Blastoise, because it will ensure from this amount of HP he couldn't kill me even with a Grass Knot or anything like that. And I just know right away that he'll probably set up a sub, but it's my best interest to spin these rocks away, such that my Togekiss as well as my Mega Pidgeot will be able to switch in more easily. The battle's lagging a little bit. That's just how it is sometimes. But anyways, he gets a big Surf off me, and it does a lot. But my red card does come out and knock him out behind that substitute. Right here, I do make a little bit of a misplay. I just went for a Roar, which was not my best play. I had nothing to lose by clicking Scald there, because there's no way that he could put himself into a Pataya range. I'm assuming that's what set he was. But I end up roaring himself back into here, and I click Roar again, because what I don't want him to happen now at this point, Roar is definitely my best play, because if he were to substitute there, get into Pataya range, and then end up having Grass Knot, I could be in real trouble. So that's why I decided to do that. He goes into his Mega Venusaur. I'm just clicking Roar again. I can't risk a setup. If for some reason he was a fast Swords Dance Venusaur, that was something that maybe I thought he could bring. Looking into prep would actually be really scary. But he just goes for the Sludge Bomb and takes me out. That's fine. Blastoise got rid of Rocks. That's its #1 job. It is a little unfortunate. It could have been helpful with the Victini, but it's what I decided to do. And I ensured that that the Empoleon didn't do much for my team. Right here, I go straight for the Hurricane. He has no switch-ins into this because his Empoleon has been weakened, so he is forced to sack the Mega Venusaur. It wasn't going to be very useful anyway versus things like my Mega Pidgeot, or like that. Anyways, he goes into this, and I just had to hope it wasn't Scarf. If this was Physical Scarf with Bulk Strike, I lost the game. But I go for the Hurricane. It does a good amount of damage, but the damage that does, you know, just a little under half, but I get the confusion, but he does not hit himself, and he goes for the Blue Flare. And Pidgeot takes that surprisingly well. I do have a good amount of HP on this Pidgeot, but I still think I take that pretty damn well. So I'm gonna Roost in case he does hit himself in confusion. I think that was my best play since another Blue Flare wouldn't take me out, and if he decided to go for a Thunder there, because of the Roost, it wouldn't be able to take me out either. But he breaks through, gets another off, so I go for another Hurricane, but I get another confusion. So I'm just like hit. But he doesn't, and he's able to take me out with the Psychic. So Katrina does go down, but Katrina put in a good amount of work, very much weakening both this Victini and taking out the Mega Venusaur. And from this range, Jirachi is going to be able to come into the game and clean up the game. We're able to take out the Victini with the Psychic. The Empoleon is in range of the HP ground, and 2 Psychics with the knockout Lucario. I don't even... There's when I finally saw that item. I'm just going to refuse to acknowledge it or say its name this entire video, because for all intents and purposes, it did not exist in this battle, as it came into almost no effect. But anyways, his only hope there was that I was a slower Jirachi and he was able to set up a Swords Dance and maybe take me out with an extreme speed plus close combat, but I am max speed. I'll be able to him with the max special attack Psychic. There goes down the Lucario. Don't know why that escaped me so much. And then finally, Tenacity, the Empoleon, will go down to the Hidden Power ground from my Jirachi, and that's the game versus Jolt. So that's the NPL Season 4 Championship. I hope you all enjoyed. We are the champions. That's probably playing in the background right now. We took him out in the finals, just like it was meant to be. But anyways, I hope you guys stick around for next season. Yeah, I'm Togevoir, you're yourself. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you check out Jolt's channel, as well as the official NPO channel below, and Riz as well. Peace.